Okay, so welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. We are talking about H-2Bs in this set of videos, and as I've stated in a prior video, the method for showing the temporary labor certification and how to proceed and submit it has changed, and it will go into effect sometime in April. So you should be aware of that before you continue submitting it in the same manner of which you've previously done. Now, keep in mind that an H-2B worker is a non-immigrant that is admitted to the U.S. on a temporary basis, and it is very temporary, meaning 6 months, a year, possibly a year and a half, and that there are no other workers available in the country that can do the position, that are legally able to work. And that is what the temporary labor certification will show. Now, there's different regulations and different entities that deal with an H-2B. Normally it's the DOL, or Department of Labor, and it's the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, of which the USCIS, which is the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, all work together to ultimately give an H-2B. And in order to proceed, normally, they have to have a temporary labor certification from the Secretary of Labor. Now, this certification, again, will inform the USCIS that U.S. workers capable of performing the services or labor are not available, and that the employment of the foreign workers will not adversely affect the wages and working conditions of similarly employed workers in the U.S. So that's essentially the bottom line of what a certification is from the Department of Labor. Now, there's lots of regulations and procedures on how to do a temporary labor certification, and they're usually found under the Code of Federal Regulations 20, Part 655, if you ever want to look and find for yourself. But there's tons of them. But that particular section will govern the H-2B labor certification process, which it also governs the enforcement process to ensure that U.S. H-2B workers are employed in compliance with the labor certification requirements. Now, applications for labor certifications are normally processed through what's called the OFLC, or the Office of Foreign Labor Certification. And that is under, I know a lot of initials here, that is under the Employment and Training Administration, or the ETA. That is the agency which the Secretary has delegated responsibilities as described in the H-2B regulations. So the enforcement, the attestations, the documentation, everything needed by the wage and hour division, and so forth, all of that is governed by those sections which I had just made. Now, the enforcement authority was granted on January 16th, 2009, and the current way of doing the labor certification, the temporary one, minus the new way, which I'm going to get into, has been around since May 22nd of 2008. So, as you can see, there's a lot of different agencies that have to work together in order to issue the H-2B, and there's a lot of work that has to be done on your part, or the attorney's part, to make sure that it all comes together properly and that the H-2B would be issued. Now, on the following videos, we will get into some detail on the new way, starting in April, the end of April, on the new way of doing the labor certification for the H-2B. Okay, more on the coming